Hello everyone, welcome back to the Plunder Den, and our final episode on the temple build. So in today's episode, we are going to cover how to add plant life and foliage and gravel and just kind of taking that terrain to the next level. We're going to cover how to use twine to make vines and all these interesting army painter products that help you with your terrain. You know, adding tufts and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to cover that off in this video and finish off this temple and get this build complete. So let's get down to the table and see what I'm up to. Okay, so in this image here, I got the grass green battlefield flocking that I'm using by Army Painter. Just kind of want to let you know that I made a rookie YouTube mistake and I've deleted a portion of this video. So originally I had used the brown battleground gravel, and I really wanted to show you guys that. I don't know if you can see it in this picture, but I have it laid down. But I applied it the same way. So that brush that I'm using there is a dollar store, just a cheap brush that you can buy at Walmart or a dollar store. You can buy them in multi-packs. Because you're going to use it to glue things on and brush on glue, just use a cheap brush. And then after I put the brown battleground, the gravel on, I moved to what we call steppe grass, and it's kind of a darker flocking. So then the stage I'm at right now in this video is the grass green. So I'm really upset that I lost that part of the video because there was a lot of good details in there on applying it and I lost it. But just a note, make sure you put a piece of newspaper down below, you know, I just take it right out of the container and just put it down. I do each color separately, so that way whatever falls down on the paper below, I can just put it back in the container. Just fold the paper up, put it back in the container. So in those first two segments that I lost, that essentially I was showing you guys me applying the gravel and the steppe grass. And, you know, I add the flocking the same way as I do my paint. So I started with some dark colors, flockings, and then I add on top of it. Just keep adding more and more different colors and different layers of flocking to get that realistic feel I want. So that's what I'm showing here. I'm actually just doing the grass green, which is a medium green. It's between the steppe grass that's already on there and the field grass that I'm about to put on. So we're going to move to the next color. All right, so this is the next color, field grass, and this one really is a bright green, and it really looks more like a jungle terrain. I definitely wanted to add those darker colors of flocking first. And then add this afterwards. And this is really going to be the raised areas where I really think the sunlight will hit, especially these two pillars up front. I remember in the paint video I talked about covering these with a lot of plant life as they would have been exposed to the sun and weathering. And so I'm really just, this is what kind of what you guys missed in the first part of the video is just me using that brush, and I'm really strategic on the way I place things. Same with the washes. I just take the brush and hit the areas I want to, put the flocking on, and just tap it off. And I'm kind of just going to go around this whole temple and adding all this bright flocking to it. This field grass, really good product. I like all the Army Painter flockings and the battleground brown. It all goes really good together, and I want that interplay of different colors. I do this all in one continuous motion, same as the paint. just so I get that same mixture and interplay of all the different types of flocking that I'm putting on here. So this is also a good way to hide some of the errors. I remember we had a bit of a jungle green disaster on this piece, and it was washes and this flocking, and it's in good shape. It'll look just fine. Um, Now, there's lots of methods for putting flocking onto your pieces. I know I've seen a lot of people just use like a sieve that they would use for a flower or whatever, and sieve it on and just kind of dump it all over the whole thing. They use a kind of a spray adhesive, and you could do that, and some people get awesome effects. It's really a good technique. I like to just do little bits at a time, and just kind of play with it, work it, and just kind of build up from there. I just like to hit little areas with my brush and kind of go through. But I just continuously do it to add all the flocking. When I get to the plant life, the larger plant life, we'll be using a different kind of glue. I usually use super glue. We'll discuss that in a minute, but just kind of showing you here what I'm doing here with the flocking. All right, so that's pretty much it with this step. I'm just going to go around the entire building. We can kind of fast forward it here and then move on to the larger plant life. So I like to use this, it's called Florist Moss. I actually buy this at Walmart. It's in the craft section. They got a floral section where people make floral arrangements out of artificial flowers and all sorts of stuff. But I find that it has a really good like jungle feel to it. Here's some, just showing a chunk of it, and I'll just pull it out in chunks. Here's some other products that I'm going to be using. This is Jungle Tufts by Army Painter. There's it's like a woodland tuff here. And I'm just showing you all the different stuff I'm going to be gluing on to this piece. So this one's kind of it's a meadow flowers, it's called. There we go. It's right there's the label. I really like this one. I have to say it's the more expensive of all the tufts. It's actually pretty pricey. And then this yellow long grass. They sell it in. I bought that at Michael's. There's a Scene Rama that also makes a pretty good version of it. And I'll go in and I'll glue this with super glue. So my favorite go-to super glue is Gorilla Glue, clear Gorilla Glue. And your stuff won't glue immediately. This will have to set over a 24-hour period. But this, I assure you, will stay. It's not coming off. Once it's on there, it's not coming off. So I like to use this Gorilla Glue. I know that there's some people use a spray adhesive and they spray it on over top, or they make a PVA wash with a spray, and that works well to keep all their plant life on there. I'm pretty hardcore. I just go in there with super glue, just stick it right on there, and that way it's not going to come off. And I was talking about it in the previous video about making sure that this is playable. Ultimately, I'm going to be running my minis through here, and it's going to see lots of action, and I want these plants to stay. So similar to the flocking, I just kind of go around and stick it anywhere I think it might smaller plants would have grown, and just sticking it through here. Now, as far as the tufts go, similar to the flocking, I like to use, I showed you 3 different colors. Of course, the meadow flowers are the nice bright yellows, and then the jungle tuff is a kind of a lighter green, and then the woodland is your strong green. And again, just like to use the multi different colors of a plant life in there. If you were in the jungle, that's what you would see. You would see all sorts of different colors, and the jungle's not all one color. Um, so it really adds to the overall piece. I know these tufts can be a little expensive, so there is methods to make your own tufts. I know. I think I might end up having to make a video on just doing all sorts of exploring all sorts of homemade versions of all this stuff I've been using. So making my own tufts and making my own flocking and you know all those kind of things washes for sure too. That could be an interesting video. All right, so this floral stuff, I like to just grab it, kind of put it in a ball. So I take all the loose, because some of it's not stuck together too well, so I pull all the loose bits off. Then I kind of roll it in a ball, and I just add a bunch of super glue to it. And I'm just going to stick it right on here, and it's not going to go anywhere once I've got it on there. Now, of course, it'll take 24 hours to dry, but once it dries, it is stuck on there really good. At this stage, I'm not too concerned if it's not, maybe it's looked a little off balance or it looks too big. You can always go back and trim some of the stuff off afterwards, and even if you had to pull it off, you could just cut it off and put a new ball there or whatever. I mean, it's pretty pretty forgiving if you want to fix this up. So I'm just kind of, when I build these things, I don't really have a plan. I just kind of stick things on, see how it looks. But again, I don't have my super glue on there quite yet. I want to see what it looks like first and see, do I like it? Do I like that? And looks like I found a spot, so I'm going to super glue it right there. Anyway, so that's pretty much how I put it on. I'll probably put some on the top of the temple and just kind of work it around and wherever I think some larger plant life would live. All right, so we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I like to use this yellow long grass made by Art Minds. And usually I just get a pair of scissors and I'm going to cut it in a half or a quarter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of twist it a little bit. And I like to make a long grass or imply long grass in certain areas. So it's kind of like making your own tuff. I usually use the white tacky glue for this. I don't usually use the super glue for this. Just because these pieces are all real fine, this grass, and I find that the PVA or this white glue will kind of keep them all together. I can see I'm struggling with the white glue. But we're going to get it on there, and we're just going to place it all over the piece. So it looks kind of like just long grass, which you would find in the jungle. Long grass, you would find it in a swamp or a bog. So you could use this technique for a lot of different things. Sometimes I just will even just lie it flat. Just kind of put glue in a certain area and just lie it flat. I did that for some of my other builds, my other temple build, and I just kind of slap it in there. But I think it's a effective way to add another element or a different element of the other bushes and flocking that we have there. Again, just trying to get different type of plant life on your piece here. In the jungle, there's quite a variety of different things where you would put them. I do plan on putting it on the top and on the inside some, and probably on the sides. Okay, I think we'll move on to the next step. So you need the tacky glue again for this step, and we are going to make vines. So I know a lot of people have asked how to make this vines. I use this Bulldog twine. It's called Bulldog, made from Bulldog hardware. And it's really, really, really thin. Kind of try to show you in the camera, but it's extremely thin. And why I'm using this thin twine is that it's easy to pull apart, and it won't be thick. If you get the twine too thick, it'll be really hard to stick to your piece. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of trying to pull it apart. And as you can see, it's going to start looking like roots. And I'm just going to keep working it. And I try to pull it out as thin as I possibly can. Obviously, if you pull it apart so much, it'll fall apart. So you have to leave the one end still rolled up. And that'll work good for when you try to glue it onto your piece. So you just kind of pull it apart like this. And get as thin as you possibly can. And really the reason why we're making it nice and thin is because that's how we're going to get it to adhere to your piece. When we add this tacky glue over top, we're just going to glue it on with tacky glue. And we're actually going to brush the glue on over top of the vine. As you can see, I got a full end on here. Oh, I think I'm going to need to make it a little bit longer. There you go. It looks pretty good. Get kind of a nice root look to it. You could, at this stage, some people would paint it. You could paint it if you want. You could add washes to it. I actually just like it looking like dead vines. So I kind of just leave it the way it is. It looks good to me the way it is. But you don't have to. You could paint this. So I'm just going to take the top off here. So I'm going to have to find a place where I can start my vine. So remember, I left a little chunk on the end there. You can see where my fingers are. And I'm going to kind of see if I can shove it in the top here. I just want to have a good starting point for where I have my vine growing from. It's going to be under the top. Nobody's going to see it anyway. So we're going to put it there, but it's going to look like it's growing out from the top of the top of the piece here. All right, so I've kind of decided that corner is where I'm going to start. So I'm just going to glue that end. Got a pretty good, healthy amount of white glue there. And I'm going to stick the end of that vine in there. Yeah, this is also very messy. You're going to get a lot of glue on your fingers. So then I'm kind of just spreading it out where I would like to see it. And I'm just going to take my brush and I'm just going to wipe glue right on it. Remember, don't worry too much about all the glue that's being put onto this. It's all going to dry clear and you're not going to see it. So, but it's a great way to stick these vines to your piece. And the thinner you get it, the better, and the easier it will be to apply. If your vine or your twine here is too thick, it'll just come off. It'll just fall off. So you need it to be thin enough that it will sit in the white glue and keep its positioning in there. So I'm just going to wrap it around there. I don't want it hanging off the bottom, so maybe it's growing around this corner here, kind of looking for the light. And I just kind of work it. I know this can be frustrating. I think I end up knocking things off all umpteen times. But hopefully you'll get it to a position where it's in a good spot. I would suggest probably cleaning your fingers off every so often. I was impatient, and well, of course, I was trying to film this whole thing all in one swoop so you guys could see what I was doing. But I wasn't cleaning my fingers off in between, so I still have lots of white glue. And unfortunately, the white glue starts drying on your fingers, and you can start pulling things off with your sticky fingers. So normally, I probably would have wiped my fingers off a few times in between here. Just wanted to let you know that I didn't add this vine in right after I put all that other plant life on. I had actually super glued that already, and it had already been drying for 24 hours. Um, so that everything else was pretty solid on the piece before I start adding these vines. Mainly because I'm dumping all this glue on here. Um, if the other stuff isn't glued down, you will lift it off, and all that other previous work you've done up to this point will be all for naught. You'll pull it off with the glue. So uh, before you start the vines, do that on a separate stage on its own. You'll have to wait 24 hours to let everything dry first in the previous stages before you apply this vine. As you can see, I'm just going right down to the tedious little. You probably can't see it on the camera here, but there's little parts of the vine that are sticking out everywhere. So I'm trying to get it all flat against the wall. So I'm just kind of gluing it wherever it might touch a stone, so I can get it to stay flat. All right, so now pretty well the back's done. I want to look at getting another piece here, and then I kind of want to do some lines on the inside. So I will show you one more here. I'm going to do one on the top piece of this temple. I'm just pulling this apart. I know this can be a little, like again, tedious, time consuming. And I guess it doesn't help that I still have glue on my fingers. But I just wanted you guys to show you the gist of it, what I was doing. Well, while I'm pulling this apart, I didn't mention you probably can see some bright green bushes in there. I didn't mention it in the supply list or show you guys, but it's made by the Moss Collection, and it also is available at Walmart. It's in the floral section. But I really like the bright green. It looks like it really adds to the jungle terrain. I just wanted to make a side note about that because I didn't add the packaging to the video so you guys can see it. But you probably are wondering what those bright green bushes are. That's what it is. All right, it looks like I'm touching up some of the vines. They're coming off the side there. I had to touch it up a little bit. We're almost ready. Let's get our top. All right, so similar to the back wall, you got to have a starting point where you would like it. Because I have this nice big flat surface on the bottom of the temple, it actually is a good place to adhere this vine to it because you have a nice big flat surface to dump glue onto. So I kind of decided that's the way I want to do it, and I'm just going to smear glue right over top of it. So just another note, try to, I'm going to put it all together just so you guys can see it, but let these two pieces dry separately. Otherwise, you'll glue them together, unless that's what you want, if you want to put them all together. But really, I like to, I have to let them dry separately because I want to be able to remove this top whenever I need to, or just, again, this piece has to be playable. I plan on using it for Blood and Plunder game there. So I want to make sure that that is playable. All right, so I'm just continuing on, trying to adhere this vine to the bottom here. As you can see, it's all sorts of manners of mess. Try not to be frustrated, because this step can be frustrating. But I think the payoff is is worth it. This is a good method for making vines. All right, so we're almost done here, putting this together and completing this temple build. So here's the finished product. Kind of have it all. Just going to do a little bit of a tour for you guys to see. There's the vines on the back. That's what they finished off looking like. Again, you can't see any glue on there. Everything is dried nice. Wrapped around the building there. All that plant life added. And I've moved the lid. Now I have this lovely little, I would say, a fire pit that I made out of a tea light. So I was thinking that might be an interesting thing to do on a separate video. So let me know down below if you guys want me to do a tutorial video on how to make the tea light fire pit over there. I think it fits good in my temple here. All right, that's a wrap.